much longer are you going to let this Grace Hospital thing go on?
Not much longer. I cannot tell you how much this annoys me. And it is you know, it's been a Hobson's choice for us. I mean, if the challenge we have is if we yank this, we don't want to go back to square one. And it is, we will be moving very shortly.
Do you have some leverage not to have to go back to square one?
Well, that's what we're, you know, that's the issue. And I mean, there's issues around that. There's issues around, you know, sole sourcing. You know, can we, if we can't proceed with this, can we sole source those beds to someone else? Because if you don't, then you're into a bidding process. He owns the land. Is there other land available? I don't want to add 2 years to the process. When I look at what Mr. Schlegel did in the east end of Windsor, it's a spectacular facility. And I've known Mr. Schlegel and his sons for a number of years. I've been to a number of their facilities across the province. They are great developers. And so we will move soon in accordance with undertakings that are or are not made.
Is there anything, are you going to take a look at this and see what you've learned? Maybe not make this mistake?
This is, you know what, I'll tell you, as finance minister, it really bugs me that there wasn't better analysis done beforehand.
So what went wrong in the analysis process?
Well,
Can you
I
say
mean,
now, looking back?
I mean, part of the problem was a lot of private sector guys, we were having trouble getting developers. Don't forget that, okay, because they wanted more money. And the daily rates are, again, the economics are quite marginal. So we actually had a situation where we had to go back, and I think VOSA took additional beds at the time because developers weren't interested in doing it at that price. And that is part of the challenge you have. And there are not a whole lot of folks in the private sector that do this. And the Schlegels are probably, in my, you know, from what I can see, probably among the best in the country. And but again, the economics for these guys are marginal, and so they approach these things very carefully. So we did not have a lot of people really interested in developing at those rates. We have found them. We've developed a number of places successfully, but that's a real challenge. I've had a number of guys locally, you know, call and say, well, I'll do it, but you're going to have to pay me this much more.
Well, plus when these beds were first announced, it was the beginning of the recession, right? And that's why Extendicare pulled out. That's
Yeah,
why VOSA took
but
on.
this is an ongoing problem with the private, and again, long-term care is by and large privately delivered, and so, you know, the economics for these developers. I mean, a guy like Schlegel knows how to do it and do it well, but it's a challenge for them, and you know, there are co-pays involved with the families, and so part of the challenge we've had is that, and it will continue to be a challenge. But this is what I mean, you know, and long-term care is by and large privately delivered, and most Ontarians don't realize that. It's one of the reasons I've been so hyped up about pension issues and well, post-retirement income issues, because you know, I went through it with my own mom and dad they were both in complex continuing care for the last 4 years of their lives, and their co-pays in a public institution were $4,000 a month. And I don't think a lot of my generation who haven't lived that realize it. Now, they were part of a generation that, you know, they didn't have mortgages when they were in their 50s. They didn't, I don't think my dad ever paid interest in his life. He's one of those guys who uses credit card and paid at the end of the month. But and you know, the studies have all indicated that there's a substantial swath of middle-income Canadians, $40,000 to $110,000 a year, that aren't saving enough. But back to the point, so it has been challenging with this, and I'm sick about it. And because you know, we were late. You know, this stuff should have started 10 years ago. This is all predictable and evident. I'm delighted we've been able to get the new beds on the east side. I'm delighted with the beds we've been able to redevelop in a number of other facilities in the area. But this has been a real challenge.